guys, welcome back to the channel. We're actually getting into the first part of the Newsela video series. We're going to be talking about signing articles, searching for them, filtering, navigating to it, installing it, setting up groups, and doing a bunch of other stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so to begin the installation, it won't be in your 2 pages. And it will not be in the districts menu. So you're going to go up here to the search and you're going to type in Newsela, and there it is. And here's the page, and I press install. Once the next page starts up, it's going to ask me for the privacy. Make sure that both your personal page as well as the students' pages are accessible. So those are the places where you're going to install it, and you press allow and continue. Okay, so here is the basic interface of Newsela, and from here this looks a little jarring, but instead of looking at all these articles, it makes your life a lot easier if you use the sidebar. So the sidebar is kind of like your table of contents. So right now it's at the tab of latest news articles, and if I go a little bit deeper, I could always see more. So basically, I would choose popular, and I go to all the popular trending articles, and I go to see more if I want to see more of that. If I go to good news, I'll see good news, positive articles, not negative ones, and I would press see more, and they would give me more of a selection that way. Again, this is the main page of the website, and it has all the trending articles in a student-friendly format. There's a bunch of different options you can choose, and there's pros and cons articles. There's even articles in English as well as Spanish. So it's pretty much at your pedagogical discretion what you're going to use if this is how you want to choose your articles. Okay, searching and filtering. So here's my search button. We're going to press search, and yes, you can type in a phrase, but we're going to leave it blank. The reason why we left it blank is because it's going to give you all the articles in the entire Newsela repertoire. Now, when you're here, sure, you could go to text level and you could look at these. When you go to filters, it's the same thing. But the 2 filters you should definitely have on, especially if you're in the lower grades, is lower elementary or upper elementary. I'm going to show you why right now. If I choose kindergarten and 1st grade and I go to apply, it shows me child articles that are readability wise. Yes, they'll be able to read it, but there's also articles where they're not apropos to students at all. So you definitely want to make sure it's not only readability, and that content you're also taking into account. So if I go to clear, and I go to more filters, and instead I'm going to use lower elementary. Now I get a bunch of different articles, and they're a lot more tailored to their interests and their age genre. And again, it's super helpful when you're choosing content that way. And if you do it by readability alone, you might get something socially charged or politically charged, and it might inhibit you from finding actual articles that will engage in students, because that's the whole point of this. Okay, saving your content. So any article that you run across, whether you're searching for it, browsing for it, or just finding it in general, you're going to notice that there's this little icon beside it. It's like a bookmark. Okay, so anytime you click this guy, like I'm going to click all 3 of these articles. So the National Teacher, the First Amendment article, and this article about this tortoise. The way I access that is your content. So this is basically where all your bookmarks are kept, and you could go to Save by You. And there's those 3 articles that I just saved. Now, if I want to get rid of them, I would just unclick them. And they're gone. Okay, assignments and binder, basically the same thing there. So if I click assignments, I can get to the binder. This is assignments, and this is everything that's in binder. activity feed, reading summary, power words, school summary. It's just a shorter way of getting there. The activity feed, assignments is where all your assignments are, obviously. Activity feed is basically notifications. Reading summary is a more detailed look of the reading skills and how well the students are doing so far learning certain skills. Power words are all the vocabulary and language acquisition activities that are also assigned when you assign an article to the students. And this is school summary, but I don't believe you can see that because you're just a classroom teacher. We're going to go over to assignments. And on the assignment, if you notice, it says 8 students of 8 viewed, 8 of 8, 8 of 8, 13 of 13. I have more than 8 students in my class. The reason why I have less students here is because I created groups within it. And that's what we're going to get into next. So I have a C group, a A group, and a B group. Okay. This has nothing to do with the cohort. This has everything to do with readability and keeping the students in homogenized groups. Okay, so up here we're gonna go to here. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you're gonna find your name up here, and you're gonna go to settings, and you're gonna choose the third option, not profile, not account, but classes. So we're gonna go to classes, and yes, you're gonna see this class that is synced from Clever. So this is your entire roster from PowerSchool that's been given to you, and that should automatically upload and be uploaded. However, if you want to create your own classes, you would go up here to create a class. So we're going to make a sample one. Pretty simple. And we're going to go to sample class. And I'm just going to make this kindergarten. Why not? Subject, whatever subject you want, you could choose. And then you can go to create class. Now, down at the bottom, it has it, and you could kind of filter them how you want. That doesn't really matter, but you can if you want to. Here is the class code, and the students can type in that code to become part of this reading group that you're creating on Newsela. Okay. If you're worried that you don't want the wrong kids to join the wrong class, that's simple enough. You can click the 3 dots and you can go to add students. Now here you're given a link, so that makes your life a lot easier. So you're going to go to copy, and when you go to Newsela, Clever, you can go to Clever and you could send a private message, and that private message will be the link that the students will get. So the minute they click on this, that's what they'll see. So I could choose this student, and I could copy, and I could just paste it, and they would get that link. Okay, so I did a split screen here. On this side is the teacher page, and on this side is the student page. So once you give them that link in your Clever, or however you decide to send them to those select students while you're creating your groups, you're gonna copy and paste that link. This student would click on the link, and this is exactly what they would see. You're joining this sample class. That's what we're calling it over here. And yes, they're gonna go to join the class. That student is joining it. And boom, now they're in that class, and I have exactly 1 student in that course. Okay, now if I assign a class, any new articles that I'm assigning, and I only want that 1 student to see, I'm going to select sample class. So let's get into that right now. So assigning courses, make sure when you're assigning anything, you please preview the article first. Like we said before, this is a 5th grade text, but there's profanity and a whole bunch of other things that are in it, and it's really for middle school and high school. It's more appropriate for them because it's talking about whether or not the student should have done the right thing in terms of their Snapchat and using freedom of speech and that whole thing. So please preview the article and always look through it. Don't base everything on readability alone. We're gonna go up here, and I'm gonna go to search. I'm gonna leave it blank so I get the full repertoire, and I'm gonna put in those filters so that I kind of keep it upper elementary or lower elementary. Apply, and I'm gonna choose this guy right here. Okay, yeah, this one's perfect. So it's lower elementary to middle school. talking about fears and why it's normal to have that. If I choose, before I assign it actually, you have your Lexile, you could change it and changes the words and the readability. I think everybody pretty much knows that at this point. Yeah, you could make it at a 2nd grade level, you could make it 3rd grade level, you could make it a 4th grade level. So it's clearly up to you, but again, you could sign it the way you want to for the students. So instead of just going to assign, remember, you can go to activities, and power words are all the vocabulary, the specialized vocabulary that was used in the article. They'll ask context questions as well as straight denotation questions. So we have the writing and we have the quiz. The quiz is the multiple choice. And over here we have the writing. You always have the ability to edit this any way you want, such as I have already done. Okay, you don't have to stick to the question that's already here where it says writer narrative. You could change that. You could say, what is the main idea of making music for hope? Instead of the entire main idea, just give me the main idea of just this one section. Okay. You could change it to what is the message that the girl is trying to send the rest of the world. What lesson did you get from it? Or you can ask a text to self question. Do you have a talent also? So there's a bunch of different questions you can ask off of this one, and you can get a very individualized response from the students. So we are going to go to the top. Once you've made that writing assignment, we're going to go up here to assign. We're going to make sure that it's, well, it really doesn't matter. We're going to go to assign. Okay, the assignment title. I usually like to put the date for this. This makes it easier when you're scrolling down, and it makes it a lot easier. You don't get mixed up as much. I like to put the date. That's just me. But if you don't, no big deal. The classes. So because this is like just for the video, I'm going to assign it to just that one student. And the Newsela. This is where I could put it on those different grade levels. I'm going to put it to 5th grade so that the student is exposed to more grade appropriate sample vocabulary and stuff like that. So I'm only giving one assignment, one article in this assignment for this day. Okay, if you want to make it the week of and you could add multiple articles, that's clearly your pedagogical decision. I'm going to go to assign, and now in my assignments I have that one course that I sent, and it says 1 out of 0 because only that one student joined that sample class. Okay, so here we have that student, and we're gonna go, we would instruct the student that we would go to assignments, and boom, the last 7 days. Yep, there's that article, and they would click it, and they would click the bottom, and here's the article, and yes, it tells them that they're part of that sample class, and they would start beginning by pressing the read aloud and reading it. Okay, I would go over to activities. Again, student would get those questions. It's completely randomized. The multiple choice isn't completely randomized. And the writing assignment, they would have to choose what it would go as. So make sure that they choose the class that they're part of. Okay, that's a very important thing because it'll throw you off because it'll make it look like they never did the assignment and you'll have to check on your end. So they click sample class or whatever the name of their group is called, and they would have that question of whatever it would be, and they would submit the response when they're finished with the writing. All right, so we reached the end of video 1. We're actually going to get into video 2. We'll be talking about SEL content and the IB framework. And if you have any questions, just shoot me an email about this video. Talk to you soon.